Hey guys, welcome back to At the Table. Sydney here, and happy Halloween. We are 1 week away from Halloween, and a lot of times when it's Halloween night, either we're busy, we are trying to get kids ready, we're trying to welcome kids to our home if they're trick-or-treating, things like that. So you might want to have a nice healthy meal already prepared, either for yourself or for your own kiddos, because they're gonna be filling up on candy, right? So you wanna have a nice, nutritious meal for them. So I have 2 recipes for you. These are 2 meals that you could make that are healthy, but they also are gonna be fairly quick for you to make, and they're still on theme. So we have a Frankenstein wraps that you can do, and then what we're gonna be working on first is actually a witch's brew stew. And I'm gonna be making it in the Instant Pot, but you could do this one in a slow cooker, and that way you make it in the morning, in the evening, you're not stressed for dinner, you've already got it made because you've got a lot of other stuff going on. So I have already cooked our ground beef and ground pork. This recipe calls for 1 pound of each. It does suggest hot pork sausage. I did the mild because I'm a wimp, so I didn't want too hot, but it'll still have some good flavor that way. So adjust that to taste. If you can find something that's like a hot turkey sausage or chicken sausage, that would be even better. I could not find that in our grocery store, but I did still opt for the lean ground beef. So I actually got it on sale. It was on Manager Special, and it was the 93% lean. So still saving a little bit of fat that way, but of course when we're cooking, we're draining the fat and we're not gonna be adding that to our recipe. So the next thing that we're doing, and I'm not very good at this, but maybe y'all will have better luck than I have, is trying to make our carrots into the shape of a pumpkin. So you can see a few that I've kind of done here. They look more like mushrooms to me than pumpkins, but once they're cooked, maybe they'll soften up and look a little bit better. But the trick here is to cut your carrot in a way that when you go and you cut it in slices, it'll already be in that shape. So you want to, I'll take one that I haven't, I'll barely mess with this one. You want to kind of make slits and triangles. And of course, being very careful watching those fingers. You might want to use a smaller knife here. Y'all know I just don't use small knives. And then you do that on each side. And that will be kind of your stem for your pumpkin. This recipe calls for 4 carrots. That would take a while to do 4 of these. So unless you're just really gifted at that. So I'm just going to be doing, and see, that just even broke off. But I'm just gonna have a few of these, and then the rest of them I'm gonna go ahead and just cut into my slices. But if you're good at this, it can really liven up your little witch's brew stew and make it very cute and Halloween themed. So we're gonna cut a bunch of carrots. I'll finish this one as well. And with our carrots, we're getting some good vitamins here, but then we're also getting some fiber added in. So that fiber will help to slow the absorption of all that sugar that the kiddos and probably ourselves are gonna be eating, so it won't be digesting quite as quickly. So definitely something that is more fiber rich whenever you're gonna be loading up on sugar is gonna be a good choice. The next thing that we are going to be doing is making our mushrooms into little skull mushrooms. And these are fun. This one I was able to do, it was much simpler. So you take a straw and you poke out your eyes. And then you're going to make a little slit for the nose. And then if you want to go at the bottom and make little slits, it kind of looks like a little skull. So that just, will be floating in your stew and look really cool. And kids like stuff that looks cool, right? They might not really love mushrooms, but maybe they'll be more willing to try them if they're in a cool shape. So we only have about 10 mushrooms. I did go ahead and do a few others already. But you're gonna be cutting all of those mushrooms, and we are gonna be adding these at the very end because we do want these to kind of maintain their shape. So what I'm gonna do is if you're doing a slow cooker, you could easily add this at the very end and it not be a big deal. With an Instant Pot, you're gonna have to wait until you've released the pressure, and then at the very end, I'm gonna throw these in and put my lid back on top and let it sit for about 10 minutes while it's still very, very warm. So that will help my mushrooms to soften and cook. You could absolutely still add these, whenever you do the rest of your ingredients. But if you really want them to maintain their shape and look cool, have that skull look to them, then I would suggest waiting until later. All right, so I'm gonna finish chopping up these carrots and mushrooms, and we'll see you guys back in just 1 second.
Most aging adults want to stay in their homes as long as possible. And as your loved ones get older, you want to support them, even when you can't be there. Star is proud to offer Star Alert. This new system is now mobile and has GPS compatibility, so your loved ones can live their lives and you can have peace of mind, knowing they can get the help they need with just the simple push of a button. The new Star Alert also offers automatic fall detection, so help will be alerted even if they can't press the button. Call and ask about Star Alert today.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we have our carrots and our mushrooms all done. I went ahead and threw our carrots into our Instant Pot as well as our ground beef and pork mixture. So what I'm gonna work on now is just our potatoes. So this is a stew, you've got your typical stew veggies. You could definitely make this your own, add any other vegetables that you really enjoy, but you typically think of with like a beef stew, potatoes, carrots, maybe celery, and then your meat. I think spinach is always a great one to throw into something like a stew. Spinach doesn't have a ton of flavor, but you get those healthy greens in there, and it just helps to provide a little bit of a different color in there. So I have golden potatoes, and we just needed 2 cups. I've got a little bit more than 2 cups, but that should be good. And those need to be nice and diced. So got those, we're gonna throw those in. And then next up, we need 3 ribs of celery. So I always like to cut off the ends just because they don't always look great. Sharpen my knife a little bit here. And we're just gonna cut this down the middle, and then I'm gonna dice this up. So if you have, some people do like holiday, Halloween parties, this would be a great meal that you could have to serve as well. A lot of folks will just do appetizers, or you'll have lots of sweets, and we tend to not get a ton of vegetables in that way. So this is just a really great way to have a nice, comforting meal that will fill everybody up, give you some protein, give you some vegetables, and just satisfy you for your evening. So this could even be if you are doing a Halloween party, the weekend before Halloween. I think Halloween's on a Tuesday. You can make this anytime. And then you can take this recipe and use it after Halloween. Just skip the extra steps of making your skull mushrooms and your pumpkin carrots, and you've still got a nice hearty meal. So just dicing these guys up. Now, if you're doing an Instant Pot, your time is going to be significantly shortened. So this recipe calls for 4 hours on high or 8 hours on low. Because we're doing this in an Instant Pot, it really should only take about 25 to 30 minutes. With our meat, in terms of food safety, we have already cooked our ground beef and our ground pork, so that's already cooked. The only thing that's really gonna have to cook is gonna be those vegetables. The key though is gonna be that flavor really melding into your recipe. I do feel there are some things that are just better in a slow cooker. This would be one of those. Instant Pot does a great job, or your electric pressure cooker does a really great job at melding those flavors in a short time period, but still the longer that it has to sit, to me, the better it is. So I just enjoy a lot of my soups and stews that I really want to have a lot of flavor to be made in a slow cooker if possible. All right, so up next we have a leek. We're gonna do 1 whole cup of leeks, which they say is about 1 leek. I don't think it's gonna be, this is a big leek. So I'm just gonna do a good bit of this. And leeks kind of give you that oniony flavor. So if you didn't want to, this was something new to you, you weren't really sure how to use leeks, you could definitely skip this and just stick to an onion. But I thought this would give us some flair, a little bit of something different. That really looks like a cup, so that wasn't even a whole, wasn't even half of our leek. But it smells delicious. Roasted leeks are so, so good. Kind of like roasted onions, but you get such a different, little bit of a different texture than you do with your onions, which makes it pop. So we're gonna add 1 can of French onion soup. I did try to find the low sodium option, but they did not have it at my grocery store. If you are shopping, that would be a better option for you. I did find the unsalted tomato soup though, so I at least saved a little bit of sodium that way. So we're throwing that whole thing in. And then we have 1.5 cups of water. And we're doing this whole thing of beef broth. So this is 32 ounces of beef broth. This is another one, if you can find the low sodium option, that one is better. Just because we have a lot of canned soups and things here. So that's gonna give you a good amount of salt, which we really don't want too much of that in our diet. All right, then the last thing is our couple seasonings. So we've got a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And I'm gonna skip the salt just because we already have plenty of that throughout our dish, but I am gonna add a little bit of pepper here. And that's it. So I'm gonna stir this up, get this cooking, and we will see you guys back in just 1 second.
Eastern North Carolina is a beautiful place where we gladly choose to call home. And we strive to provide the best communications services. STAR is committed to improving communications to all our service areas because we want to improve the communities where we not only work, but also live. STAR Communications. We are neighbors serving neighbors.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we have everything thrown into our Instant Pot. I did add 1 clove of garlic as well. It looks good, very pretty and bright. And we are gonna go ahead and throw on our lid. If you are not familiar with using an electric pressure cooker, I'll show you real quick how we do that. So first off is you wanna make sure this back knob is on sealing. It'll say sealing and venting. If it's venting, then it's never gonna get up to pressure because it's not gonna lock in place. So you wanna make sure that it's sealed, that way that the air is not gonna be escaping your pressure cooker. So then we are going to hit pressure cook. And for this one, we're gonna do 30 minutes. It says 25 to 30. I'm gonna do 30 because those carrots were pretty thick. So you set your time and then it'll just beep when it's ready. There it goes. So it's gonna start heating up. Depending on the amount of food you have in this, depends on how long it's gonna take to get up to pressure. So always keep in mind that even if it says 30 minutes to actually cook, it takes time to come up from pressure, and then depending on your method for your recipe, sometimes it will take, they'll do the natural release, which means over time that air will just seep out of the top here, and that'll take about 10 to 15 minutes as well, again, depending on how full your Instant Pot is. This is the larger model, so it can fit a pretty good amount of stuff, but they come in all different sizes, so if you're a family of one, or if you're just a small family, they make smaller ones that are really good for more personalized meals as well. So we're gonna let that do its thing. We're gonna move on over here to our monster wraps. I keep calling them Frankenstein wraps because they really look like Frankenstein. So you can call them either way. But we have a variety of stuff. So this is a great one where you can just completely make your own. If you have kiddos that are very picky, they're not sure, they all like different things, then you can make, you know, customized wraps for you. So to start off with, we have our tortilla wraps. We brought the spinach ones. I did get the big ones just so that I have more room to work with here. But you know, you can get the smaller ones if you want. They have different colors. There's that, I think there's like a tomato basil that's red. That one would still be fun. The green, of course, is more monster-y. So starting with our wrap, then you're gonna take, you're doing like a generic wrap, sandwich wrap. So you can do your turkey, your ham, roast beef, whatever your family wants. You can put that down, you can choose your cheese. So I have a pepper jack cheese here because that just sounded really good to me. I like turkey with pepper jack cheese. So we are going to throw a couple slices of this down. Now, if you wanted mayonnaise, mustard, all that, you know, you can add that as well. I'm going to skip that today. Also, another really good base, and I had just made some homemade hummus that I have at home. I wish I would have brought it with me to work today. But hummus is a really great base as well. So you get some protein when you're adding hummus to your sandwiches and your wraps and things. You're also, because it's beans, you're getting a little bit of extra fiber in there. And beans are 2-for-1. You get your protein and your vegetable food group. So really great option there. And of course, you know, lots of good vitamins and minerals that you're getting from that. So I've got my turkey, I've got my pepper jack. If you want to do something, I always like to throw a little bit of vegetables in. So I'm going to throw a little bit of carrots inside. That one looks a little funky. And then you could do lettuce here, you could do tomatoes, you can do, again, anything that your family enjoys inside of your wrap. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go ahead and wrap this guy up. I always like to fold at the bottom and then I kind of roll. It's gonna be a little stumpy guy. And now you have your wraps. So I'm gonna do one more of those just because I want extra options for us for decorating. So you can see some different varieties of how to decorate. But with this, another reason why this is really great for Halloween time, again, you're getting a nice full meal. You're getting your carbohydrates here, so that's lots of energy. The kiddos are gonna need that to be running around trick-or-treating. You're getting your protein as well, which is gonna help to satisfy them for longer. Of course, they're gonna be wanting to eat that candy, but if you let them already be full, maybe they won't eat quite as much candy because they're already gonna be full from dinner. And then you also have your vegetables, so you're getting those vitamins and minerals in there and some good fiber as well. And like I said, with the fiber, that does help to slow the absorption of sugar in our body. So it just helps us to break that down a little bit more slowly. It's kind of the reason why sometimes they say it's better for you to eat an apple than to drink apple juice because you're missing out on that fiber. So that's it for this. I'm gonna finish rolling this up and then get our stuff ready for our toppings of our Frankenstein monster. And we'll see you guys back in just 1 second.
providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. Providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we have our wraps all put together. Next, we're gonna work on creating our little face. So again, this is something that would be super fun to do with kiddos. They could kind of design their own monster, their own Frankenstein, and kind of gives them some control, some power over what they are putting on their plate here. So I went ahead, I just used a little mustard to make my mouth. You could use cheddar cheese, something that's gonna be a little bit more sticky would be definitely good here. I tried sour cream, it just didn't really work out great. So again, you kind of do what you can with what you got. For our bolts here, maybe go this way. We're gonna use some olives. You could also use cheese cubes here. That would be cute. Most kids love cheese cubes more than they like olives, so that might be more of a hit for them. I'm gonna use some carrots. Got a little bit of extra carrot strings here for my eyebrows. I really should have pushed that a little bit lower. Gotta get my hair on too. So these are just fun to make, kind of gets you in the spirit for Halloween. It's kind of got a unibrow going on there. And just is something different, unique that you can do with something a little bit more simple, right? So something like your wraps, sandwich wraps can be kind of boring, not very exciting, but it makes it a little bit more fun and definitely more Halloween friendly. So I am going to cut out my hair kind of in little triangles here. See if I do this very well. It's one of those things where you see it online and then you try to do it and it's a fail. But I think that turned out pretty good. Definitely cheddar cheese would be, or American cheese. It also said something like nori or seaweed. Seaweed's very sticky, so it would stick much easier onto the top of your Frankenstein here. You could use mayonnaise kind of as your glue instead of using mustard. And then even for the eyes, you could also do something like, cheese there. You could do peppers, you know, whatever you might have on hand. The ones with the pimentos definitely make it look cuter just because it's kind of got the red in there for a scary Frankenstein monster. So very simple, again, this would be super cute for a party. You could make a couple different wraps, would be very cost effective too. So thinking about kind of the price of everything has gone up. So looking for ways to save a little bit of money and still be able to enjoy time with friends and family and have food, because food is definitely a big part. I think whenever we get together, we like to have, a lot of folks like to have food around as well. So very easy. Hope that you guys make these. I'd love to see some pictures of cool stuff that y'all do. We will show you our witch's brew when that is all done, and we will see you guys next time on At the Table.